Well, certainly some interesting detail there. I'd have to say that the content early in that little snippet indicating that the median price has dropped by about 17% is exactly what we were referring to last week in the show, and the feeling that perhaps around 20% was the difference in where prices have come back over the last 6 to 8 months. So really interesting to see that there's some statistics to back that up at the moment. But certainly let's hope that we're on the up and up as interest rates are tipped to remain pretty stable over the next couple of months by the Reserve Bank, and let's hope that's the way it stays. Now, joining me in the studio at the moment is Jane Reilly from Channel 10, our weather presenter. Jane, lovely to have you here.
Oh, lovely to be here, Tim, on such a beautiful spring day. Great day to sell a house, I reckon.
Look, it would be. Unfortunately, stuck here in the studio, but it'd be a good day for auctions, I reckon.
I reckon it's beautiful. More of this weather to come, I think.
Absolutely. Jane, perhaps to get things underway, can we have a little bit of a bio from you?
Oh, bio? Oh my goodness.
I did read some detail on the web before, but I'll let you...
Well, I always find it difficult talking about myself. I love talking about the weather and everyone else, but my career in television started when I was 20, when I left university. I trained as a primary school teacher. My first job in television was working with a big cat called Fat Cat on Early Birds.
Ah, yes.
And then I sort of swung into weather mode, almost 30 years ago. I've been doing the weather ever since, and I'm really passionate about the weather. I love talking about it. I think the weather's so important to us here in South Australia for our farmers and you know, everyone that's involved. It gets me out in the community. I love community work. I love going to visit schools, and so I have a very, very busy life. So yeah, I was very fortunate to sort of fall into TV, so to speak.
Yes. Well, we were talking a little while ago about the fact that a lot of people wouldn't understand that you don't just roll up at 6:30 and read the weather.
No.
Let people know what
well,
what
my
your
normal
day
working
entails.
day usually starts around about 11, so I work from 11 till 7 because Channel 10 News now goes to 6:30, and we're usually on a live cross location. So I'm responsible for the whole production of the 3 weather reports we have. We have a weather report at 5:05, one at 5:55, and then 6:25. So usually we go to a live cross location. So the one for tonight, I've already set up at Elder Park where they've got the light up the night for the Leukemia Foundation. So I've set that up. So there's things like security, access, parking for vehicles, making sure that we're not in their way at the event, that we don't get in their way. They don't get in our way, just what's going to happen. We have to film some overlay into interviews. So, you know, every day is sort of that busy, and then you squeeze other things in as well, like coming to have a chat with you. So it is a very busy life, but I mean, I absolutely love what I do, and I'm very passionate about it. So it never really seems like I'm going to work. It actually seems like it's just part of my life. Oh,
it's brilliant, and I found it fascinating to know that was the story, that you produced the weather.
It's probably out of a 90-minute news service, I contribute, I'm just doing a quick calculation, I could contribute 8 minutes of content, so a good 10% basically.
Definitely. Oh, interesting. And when you are out on location, how many people do you take with you, and cameras and...?
Well, it's a pretty small team. Basically we have a camera operator, we have an outside broadcast operator, and occasionally we get an assistant. So Channel 10 is particularly good at doing live crosses. If you analyse our news service and compare it to the others, we are out and about in the community much more, and that sort of is almost our signature. Me doing the weather on location always reminds me of the children's story, Where's Wally? It's like, where's Jane going to be tonight? What will she be wearing? What stupid place will she be? You know, sometimes I'm out in the wind and the rain, it seems a bit crazy, but that kind of gives me a great energy. So we're a very tight team, but all of the presenters at Channel 10, including our newsreaders, are quite capable of doing live crosses at the drop of a hat. So we can respond to a situation immediately. And I suppose the thing that I've noticed with the changes in technology, that now that everyone has an iPhone, which basically is a video camera, and we've all got so much technology, is that viewers are kind of a lot more tolerant about the quality of pictures they receive, because they want to be the first to see it. So we have a lot of viewers, they might be at an incident, a situation or whatever, and they will videotape it. It may be something happening with the weather, it may be a huge thunderstorm coming through. They will video, send that through to us, post it to our email site, and then I will just download it and use it on the weather. So even though it's a bit grainy, people don't care. They want to be the first to see those pictures as they happen.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Just talking about the live crosses, the last recollection I had of watching was you wrestling a cow at the show a couple of weeks ago.
That cow
sitting
broke
at
my
the table.
toe.
Is that right?
That cow broke my toe. I didn't know before, but a cow weighs 500 kilograms, delivers 31 litres of milk a day, and produces 46 kilograms of fertiliser. But Spotsy, the cow, stood on my left foot, and I've been suffering with a broken toe for a couple of weeks, but seems to be on the mend now.
It was very funny watching the
That's
vision
all part of the job,
the
and I love that.
And,
how many people get to go and milk a cow in their job, you know?
Yeah, fantastic. Well, let's bring it back to real estate. You've done a little bit of investing and developing over the years.
Well, kind of. I mean, it's been mainly with our family home.
Yep.
My late husband and I, Barry was a builder, so we would, you know, do our homes up, and then we'd get bored, so we'd sell them and buy another one. You know, every sort of, you know, sometimes 12 years in between, but I love doing that. But where I am now, I don't want to move from where I am. I love where I live, and initially last year I thought that, you know, I might sell and downsize, but I'm really enjoying where I live. I live sort of fairly close to the city, and it's an older home. It was built in 1910. And I'm enjoying doing it up and doing the renovations, not so much myself, I'm not that handy, but getting the right people to do it. So it's a lot of fun.
Get a vision of what you want and start putting it in place.
But I think we're so lucky in Adelaide because we have such beautiful homes. I mean, beautiful sandstone fronts or the Tudor style, you know, they're all gorgeous, and I think Adelaide's a really lovely place to live.
We're very spoilt in that regard. Talking about locations and things like that, I guess you get a real affinity and a feeling for the suburbs that you live in and what's around.
If I had, I've always, apart from a short time at Norwood in Edward Street, for most of my life I've lived in the council area of Unley. And if I was to get a map of Unley, and from the time I was 10 to plot where I'd live, it would be quite a maze of the different places I've lived in.
Pins everywhere.
In fact, the house I'm in now, I used to live across the road.
Oh, is that right? Oh, goodness.
We had a house across the road which we had done up, and then Barry and I were going to move up to the hills, and then this property came up. It was a private sale, so we grabbed it, did it up and fell in love with it, and that's where we've stopped.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I guess just before we move on to our next segment, back to the weather, of course.
Yes.
Any predictions over the next month? Because we're always planning our open inspections.
Yeah, well, it's hard to be too specific beyond 7 days. And it looks like this weekend will be quite pleasant. It will be quite nice. Temperatures sort of between 20 and 25. Early next week we go into the around about 30 degrees. But I was looking at the a long range weather forecast yesterday, and there's a very strong trend for some rain from about next Tuesday for the next 10 days.
Oh, the farmers
so the
will
weekend
like that.
after next might, well, the farmers do need some rain. The weekend after next there could be some showers around, but certainly for this weekend for the opens, should be looking really nice.
Well, that would be good because that's grand final long weekend, and that won't hurt our opens quite as much.
And it's also the weekend that daylight saving starts.
It is, yes. So bit of excitement.
Big one.
Yes. Now stay with us because we're just going to have a look at our Going, Going, Gone segment.